This is Kasiopao Podcast, a podcast created for Filipinos who want to learn more about financial education, entrepreneurship, and skill building. Hello mga Kasiopao, ako po si Master Siopao and I'm the host of Kasiopao Podcast. Each week, we put up an episode with successful people and experts to help you get inspired, motivated, and know the latest in financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and skill building. Good day mga Kasiopao, welcome again sa ating bagong episode. And for this episode, we're going to discuss about the social dilemma, okay? What do you call this? The Social Dilemma is actually a Netflix documentary na kare-release lang. Okay, initially it was released in like January 26, 2020. At dito sa Pilipinas, medyo naging hot topic siya. I think itong quarter na ito. Okay, I just saw the film, and it raised some very good valid points naman the way I see it. To the point that Facebook itself, no? Okay, bago natin talakayin yung about sa Facebook, let's just discuss briefly what this social dilemma is. So, Social Dilemma is a documentary a film sa Netflix. It's created by Netflix, where it is basically provided some facts, insights, interviewed mga tech insiders sa Silicon Valley about the ongoing impact of the social networks. Okay, so when you say social network, so it's a very interesting film, and it is they basically interviewed yung mga former executives and investors of Facebook itself, and also some other similar social networks, social media companies such as Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Google. Okay, the powerful Google. So they provided a lot of information. I like how Netflix actually delivered that. So if you haven't watched it pa hanggang ngayon, I suggest panoorin nyo na po siya. Ano yung mga claims na sinasabi about social network? At bakit itong si Facebook, no, or basically what prompted the Facebook to issue their official statement about the film. If you Google the Social Dilemma, Facebook response, for example, you would be diverted into a lot of pages or even blogs na merong picture nung official statement ni Facebook about the social dilemma. Okay? So ang sinasabi nila, it presented a distorted view of how social media platforms work to create a convenient scapegoat for what are difficult and complex societal problems. Okay, sabi pa ni Facebook, the film's creators do not include insights from those currently working at the companies or any experts that take a different view to the narrative put forward by the film. Okay, so yeah, marami silang response on the many issues na binato doon sa film. Okay, so ano ba yung mga response na yon? So just to give you in a nutshell, no? It's the same response that the Facebook team, led by, of course, Mark Zuckerberg, 2 years ago when they were asked to appear before the US Congress yata on some of the hearings nila doon. It's the same banana. It's the same response na sinabi ni Mark Zuckerberg doon. So there's nothing new. There's nothing new talaga. Okay? Ganyan naman si Facebook no? So what they would be doing if they are involved into certain issues, they would take or release a statement, then take a step back, and then slowly 2 steps forward na naman. As if parang wala nangyari. So, yun ang taktika ng Facebook, which I like, no? I like how Mark really paano ba sabihin yun? Manipulate? Kasi syempre, I mean, he has stockholders or shareholders to report to, no? Even though kontrolado pa rin talaga niya si Facebook. Okay, now, punta na tayo doon sa mga claims ng mga in-interview doon. So, yung mga, by the way po, doon sa Netflix documentary na yun, mga former executives ng mga malalaking tech companies sa Silicon Valley, yung mga nag, nag-provide ng mga statements, no, during the interview about what Facebook is doing, what other social networks are doing in order to, profit. No, it's a for-profit business at the end of the day. Okay? So number one na dyan is yun nga, um, it's it's surveillance capitalism. Okay? Now, what does surveillance capitalism mean? Ganito po yan. Well, basically, it's an economic system na nakasentro, okay, around commodification of personal data with the core purpose of profit making. Okay? So, yung mga personal data natin, na nilagay natin doon sa Facebook, ginagamit yan ni Facebook para kumita sila. Okay? Pero paano yun? Well, kasi, di ba, when you create a Facebook account, it doesn't cost you anything. Libre yan. Okay? All you have to have is an email address, okay? Maybe a phone number, and okay na. You can create your Facebook account na. Okay? So it's free. So you might be thinking, paano kumikita si Facebook? Okay, ganito yan. So, is kasama dun sa Netflix documentary na yon, yung former vice president ng Facebook din na responsible for monetization. When you say monetization, yan yung paano magkakaroon ng mga business or revenue model. Nakita nilang sensible and palatable na business model para sa kanila is advertising. Okay, so basically si Facebook is in-advertise tayo sa mga advertisers. That's what they do. Okay? That's really what they do. So when you create a Facebook account, Facebook using a lot of data points, no? You're being asked, okay, saan ka nakatira? Kailan ang birthday mo? Saan ka nag-college? Saan ka nag-aral? Sino yung mga family members mo? Di ba? Kasama yan dun sa profile mo na finifill upan mo kapag nag-open ka ng Facebook account. Okay? So, Facebook is getting a lot of information about you. Pati yung mga, ano yung mga movies na gusto mo? What are your hobbies? What do you like? Tapos based doon, pag ano mo, may mga makikita ka na ng mga related ads, okay? Or content surrounding yung mga interest na nilagay mo doon or yung mga data points na nilagay mo doon. Magsasuggest din siya ng mga friends mo na in a way, common connection ninyo kung sino man yung tinag mo as family member, okay? To grow your network. So basically, Facebook wants you to be on their platform most of the time, no? Kung pwede nga all the time, di ba? Mas maganda 'yon kasi the higher the engagements they have, the higher their selling price to their advertisers. And the more sticky their engagement is, the more they can see your behavior. Kaya ang tinatawag ng surveillance capitalism. They are they're surveying us from the by commodifying yung personal data natin. All right. So, yeah, before sa anumang negosyo, even actually ngayon din naman, but before, sinasabi nga nila, no, cash is king, no, in any business. You would know that a certain business is doing good if it generates cash, no, at the end of the day. Gusto mo kumikita ang negosyo, no? Sa Facebook, well, hindi problema yan. Pero may bagong king na ngayon kasi in these modern times. And what is that? That's data. Okay? Data is king. No? If companies nowadays in these modern times talaga, if you want to innovate, if you want to survive talaga, if you want to fight disruption, a lot of companies right now are moving into data science. No, they're beefing up also their talent pools with a lot of data scientists, data analytics skill sets, because that's how the business works these days. We're getting online. Everything is going mobile. No? Mobile first pa nga yung iba. Na pag nag-create ka ng product, mobile first muna. Look at ano yung itsura niyan pag nilagay mo sa mobile. What could be the behavior of your consumers when they're mobile? And then you package your product around it para mumenta. Okay? Okay, now going back dun sa sinasabi natin. Facebook is free. Now, sabi nila, if the product is free, then you might be the product. In the sense, in the case of Facebook, totoo eh. Totoo eh, di ba? Like for example, yung Coca-Cola nag-advertise kay Facebook. Sabi niya, Facebook, gusto kong i-advertise itong bagong commercial ko sa Pilipinas, sa Metro Manila. Gusto ko yung mga tao na siguro yung mga mahilig uminom ng Coke. Okay? Or yung mga mahilig kumain. Or mahilig na tawag dito, magmerienda. Okay? Facebook Facebook has those data points, no? Then madali ibebenta at kasama ka doon sa data points na yun, kasama ka doon sa mga profile sa Facebook na nilagay mo you like drinking. Tatag ka nun. May kita mo na lang sa newsfeed mo si yung Coca-Cola commercial. At si Facebook is binabayaran ni Coca-Cola based on impressions. When you say impression, hindi naman kailangan bumili ka ng Coke bago bayaran ni Facebook, ay ni Coca-Cola si Facebook. Advertising yun eh. Parang imagine mo yung mga nag-advert, yung mga commercial sa TV. O yun, nilagay lang nila sa online. Yung mga commercial sa TV, yan, binabayaran yan for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, mga ganyan, 1 minute, mga ganyan. Mahal yun. Mahal yun. Now, imagine mo, dahil ito, Facebook, international ito, wider yung reach. You cannot only be limited to a certain territory. The bigger the target territory na gustong ni Coca-Cola mag-advertise, the higher na kailangan niyang bayaran si Facebook. The higher the price na kailangan niyang bayaran si Facebook. Kasi the bigger the data points na ipoprovide sa kanya ni Facebook. Again, that's surveillance capitalism. Okay? Now, everything that we do online is being tracked. That's basically what the social dilemma film is saying. Okay? And because when they track our actions, they can build business models around it. They build models that predict our actions. And sabi nga nila, whoever has the data wins. Okay? One thing that I like about the film is the metaphor they use, when they said that it's just like magic or the magicians. The magicians are the first neuroscientists and psychologists. They have that discipline, no? Tama eh, kasi what we normally do every time we browse our feeds, you would see may mga sinasuggest si Facebook sa'yo na medyo creepy minsan. Minsan nag-send ka lang through Facebook Messenger ng sabihin nating or na binanggit mo lang yung lotion, for example. Lotion doon sa kausap mo. Eh, pagbalik mo sa newsfeed mo, marami na kung ano-anong lotion products ang nasa newsfeed mo. Ang creepy, di ba? So, you might be wondering, binabasa ba ni Facebook lahat ng messages ko? It's the algorithm, no? It's they identify that word na okay, itong taong ito, itong user na to, maybe he or she is interested into lotion. So I might target him or her or any lotion kind of advertisement na nilagay sa akin ng advertisers ko. All right, so that's how it works. Okay, so behavioral, and what's the the relationship of that to similarity of that to magicians? Magicians, no, when you look at when you watch a magic show, for example, the magicians are really good. You might sometimes get lured to the idea that that's really magic, yung mga pina-perform nila na theatrics, no? So marami yan. Even sa America's Got Talent, no, marami nag-audition doon ng magicians. At the end of the day, these magics are just tricks, no? Merong science behind that, no? Merong mga tricks yan. May mga sikreto yan. It's not really 100% magic. Okay? Meron siguro mga magic talaga. I don't know, no? Yung mga, ewan ko. So, pero most of the time, those are just tricks, no? So, it's the same. That's the same how these social media companies work. Akala mo lahat ng nagla-like sa post mo Every time magpo-post ka, tapos ang daming nag-like, feeling mo, wow, sikat ako. Tama yung iniisip ko. Maraming nag-agree, oh. Oh, di ba? Hindi mo alam na dun mismo sa post mo, maraming inattract si Facebook probably within your network of friends or even maybe followers na similar yung thinking. Of course, kayo-kayo yung magkakasama. No? The more na strong yung bond ninyo, the more na nagkakaroon ng engagement, the more na kumikita si Facebook. Okay? Ganun yun eh. So mapapansin mo, kapag nag-post ka, yun at yun din, yung mga taong yun din na nagla-like lagi ng post mo. Kasi sila lang yung um, identified sa profile mo at minsan sila lang yung nakakakita talaga ng post mo. Why is that? Because either they're following you or talagang they have similar interests as yours. So most likely the post that you're going to do or to make would make sense to them and they will be liking it. Paano naman ngayon yung mga on the other side of the coin? Di ba? Yung mga pwede magsabi sa'yo na, hindi, mali ang iniisip mo, mali yung post mo. Dalawang bagay lang yan. Either they don't react, either nakita nila yung post mo but they don't react to it, not so as not to hurt your feelings, okay? Or, pwedeng hindi ka nila nakikita kasi nasa kabilang kampo nga sila. So yung kampo nila is iba yung pinaniniwalaan. So they're clustered together. Yung mga users na yon, yung mga groups na sinasalihan nila, yung mga photos, videos, contents na nila-like nila, sila-sila lang yun. Hindi ka kasama doon. Yun. Okay? So, Facebook is able to do that because of what we call persuasion. No? Business is the art of, I would say, persuasion. Para kumita ka, para mabenta yung produkto or serbisyo mo, you should learn how to sell. You should know how to sell. And selling is a persuasion um, discipline yan. Okay? The more persuasive you are, no, magaling kang mag-pursue ng tao, makaka-close ka ng deal, makaka-close ka ng benta, kikita ka. Now, persuasion is embedded into any kind of marketing or advertising. Even back in those days, early days talaga, it's a common talaga, principle yan, no, in selling any product or service. Now, what's the difference today? The only difference today is that persuasion is now embedded in the technology. And kaya meron tayong tinatawag na persuasive technology. Now, paano nakapag-persuade sa'yo o paano naging persuasive si Facebook sa'yo? I mean, it's not a person na merong reasoning power, can think of creativity or think creatively how to pursue you. Okay? Well, there's artificial intelligence. Meron nga siyang data, di ba? May algorithm. Na the bad thing about algorithm, sabi dun sa the social dilemma, is that algorithms are opinions embedded in a code. Algorithms are not objective. Algorithms are optimized to some definition of success. Sabi yan ng isang data scientist na in-interview nila doon sa documentary na yon. Okay? So, ibig sabihin pa, well, may tama eh. Kasi if you're a business owner, you want to get data points from your platform, yung mga users mo, and then you package that, your algorithm, into such a way na, okay, kapag si A, for example, usually gumigising siya ng 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. at chine-check niya agad yung phone niya, yung Facebook account niya, that will be the right time para ipakita ko sa newsfeed niya itong bagong produkto ko. Okay? So, masasabi bang objective si algorithm nun? No. Alam na niya yung behavior mo eh. So therefore, gagawa siya ng paraan para mailagay sa attention mo yung binibenta niya. Para kikita siya ngayon doon sa nag-advertise sa kanya. And that's how it really works. So, algorithms, I would say, it can be turned on, it can be turned off based on kung ano yung gusto ni Facebook or ng advertiser niya. But most of the time, it's Facebook. Sabi nga doon, yung dating vice president ng Facebook yata, ano, VP for monetization, ang sabi niya, there was a time na, well, Mark Zuckerberg basically controls everything in Facebook. So there was a day, some days, gusto niya, oh sige, turn on natin ng malaki itong ano, yung engagement natin sa, say, South Korea. Okay? Less monetization but more on feeding this kind of content to them. He can do that. Kontrolado niya yung Facebook and he has all the data that we have. So yung sinasabi niya. So, scary, no? Scary. Nakakatakot talaga. Okay. Now, kaya hindi ka taka-taka, no, na especially yung mga youngsters these days, mga uh, teenagers or mga early teenagers, maalala ninyo, may pinakita doon na ano eh, may pinakita doon na rates of suicide sa United States na somehow nagko-coincide siya, no, doon sa pag-boom ng Facebook. So, ang sabi doon, ito nilagay ko dito sa notes ko, at the time 2009, no, they were up I mean, Facebook basically increased, no, nag-expand na sila into other markets, lumaki yung user base nila, billions na at that time, tumataas din yung suicide rates. So, may high correlation, no, from the US suicide rates per 1 million girls. So, girls aging 10 years old to 14 years old, makikita mo dun sa graph na nandoon, kung gusto nyong hanapin kung saan ano yun. At it's on 40 minutes and 55 seconds doon sa film. So, pwede mong i-fast forward doon to get a look of that graph. So, from time of 2009 hanggang pataas ng pataas, girls aging 10 to 14 years old are doing suicides. It's up by 151%. And then, girls aging 15 years old to 19 years old naman, there's a 70% increase in suicide rates. At marami to marami. Grabe, no? Grabe yung mga rates na nakikita natin dito. A very vulnerable one dito sa social media dependency talaga, yung mga youngsters, mga teenagers. Kaya kung kayo may mga anak talaga na heavy users ng mga social media accounts, bantayan nyo po. No? Hanggat maaari, ilayo natin sila. I would suggest, i-discipline natin sila hanggat maaga pa on that usage. That even si Steve Jobs, no? It is not Facebook, no? It's not Facebook, it's the Apple. So these creators of this big technology know the harmful effects of their creations to their children. So I think si Steve Jobs is at nung bata pa talaga yung mga anak niya, hindi niya pinapahawak ng iPad or iPhone. Because he knows the harmful effects once napahawakan niya ng mga ganun. So, I think that's also the reason why, because kasi yung mga teenagers ngayon, no, they're getting mababa, I mean, it's their formative years, no. Mababa pa they want to get accepted. Mababa yung confidence nila, no. Minsan they get that validation from their friends, from their classmates through the social media. Unlike in the past, nung tayo, lalo yung mga batang 90s dyan, kaway-kaway ng mga batang 90s katulad ko, wala tayong internet pa, no? Lumalaki tayo, nagkikipaglaro tayo sa mga kababata natin. We do our homeworks sa library, di ba? We hang out with the people, mga barkada natin. Merong social interaction, no? Hindi natin kailangan ng validation ng social media para masabi yung ano yung worth natin. So, there was a part in that film na talagang I like the depiction of the impact of social media sa mga kabataan. So, yeah, in short, hindi maganda. Hindi talaga maganda. Lalo kung nagiging dependent sila doon sa acceptance o non-acceptance nila sa society. Okay? Yeah, so yun. And one of the things that this social network bring to us is, I mean, it's being used in politics. No? So alam niyo naman yung nangyari sa Cambridge Analytica. Yan. At saka yung mga in the past, no, yung during the I think the when the US elections are being sinasabi nila na may mga Russian interference. Actually, the Russians did not hack. Yung sinasabi ng mga eksperto doon sa film. They didn't hack it. No? What they it's a, it's purely talaga using the data points or the algorithm of Facebook to their advantage. It's a valid use of the platform. Now the problem there is, yeah, I mean, it's really causing polarization. So not only here in the Philippines but also outside, no, other countries, they're saying that people are getting more polarized. May nagiging sobrang divisive ng mga tao sa US, dito sa Pilipinas, because of social media. There was a time that there are a lot of um, uh, politicians who got their offices because of their popularity sa social media. It's not really because um, they're telling them, no, they're truthful, no, but sometimes it's a campaign, eh, no, they can do all they want. So siguro masyadong magaling sila sa paggamit talaga ng Facebook. That's why they get elected to their offices. Okay. Now, if this thing gets worse talaga, if this didn't cannot be stopped, ang merong isang nag-share doon ng insights niyan na yun nga, yung former VP ng monetization ng Facebook. Sabi niya doon, this might lead to a civil war. Scary, di ba? Ayaw natin ng gera. This might lead to a civil war if this will not stop. That's why they're now advocates of humane technology. No? So may movement sila ngayon on how to kasama nila si yung mga the likes of Steve Wozniak. Steve Wozniak was the co-founder of Apple, na isa siya sa mga very vocal na sumama doon sa hashtag delete Facebook movement. So dinelete niya na yung Facebook account niya. Elon Musk also deleted his Facebook account, and even the Facebook co-founders, like si Chris. So it's sabi nga niya, Facebook needs to break up kasi it's now an existential threat to the society, to every nation. Okay. So ano ba yung pinaka nito? Is it only Facebook in the first place? No. So actually, no, it's not only Facebook. It's Google as well, YouTube, and others like Instagram, WhatsApp, kasi mga Facebook companies din yung mga yan. Sinasabi nila, no, it's the same ba? Yung iba, nag-delete nga ng Facebook account but they're still using Instagram or they're still using WhatsApp. It's the same. No, those are Facebook companies pa rin. So, you're still getting manipulated, yung sinasabi nila. Okay. Now, the question here is that should we actually delete our Facebook accounts or any social media accounts because of the revelations dito sa The Social Dilemma Netflix film? Okay, disclosure po. I deleted my Facebook account na since May. And that is because of the same issues. So since 2018 nasa abroad pa ako, there was some investigations around Facebook, antitrust, mga ganyan, privacy breaches, Cambridge Analytica. And then in 2019, napansin ko parang walang nagiging action on their part. So that's how sabi ko, come 2020, I would really need to delete my Facebook account. And that's how I got out of Facebook. So I started deactivating muna. And you know what my experience is that mas naging maayos ang buhay ko, to be honest. Kasi hindi na ako nakatutok almost time of the day checking out what my friends are doing, how many likes I got on my posts, for example, and the politics involved then, no, especially sa Pilipinas. So naging maayos yung buhay ko. I was able to concentrate on my work, on my craft, and also, more time really with doing things that matter. Like for example, being with my family, no, being 100% attention to my son. Okay. So, yung mga nanay tatay diyan, yung mga lalo kung may mga bulilit kayo na mga adjunakis, no? So, minsan they really need our attention. So, if you're really hooked up sa cellphone mo, sa smartphone mo, kaka-browse ng mga social media accounts mo, may mag-isip-isip ka. Kailangan ka ng anak mo. Take a break, no? Kung ayaw mong i-delete yung account mo, take a break. No, actually, ako, before I deleted my Facebook account, I took some one week, 2 weeks break, minsan 1 month break, just to get outside the noise, no? Kasi most of the time noise lang yung mga yan. Again, you're being commoditized inside that platform. So it's a relief, no? I felt relieved. Although minsan talagang hindi na ako updated sa mga happenings sa mga kamag-anak ko, ng pamilya ko, but that's okay, no? Kasi um, as long as nakaka-communicate naman ako sa kanila using other means, like for example, Viber, diba, or simple text message, I mean, that's fine. I still can communicate naman with them. I also don't need to show off, no? Kaya nagkakaroon ng mga mental disorders, marami nagsusuicide because people are showing off. Akala mo okay sa kanila yon, di ba? And they're, um, of course, may mga sabihin nating emotionally weak na tayong mga kaibigan na when they see people that are doing really well in their lives, they feel bad about themselves. Okay, so they feel bad about themselves to the point that madidepress sila, no? Kaya pansinin niyo nung tumaas yung mga number of users sa Facebook, tumaas din ng depression. Maraming na-depress, maraming nagsusuicide. So, it's doing the way, my opinion lang naman, it's doing more harm than good. Okay? Now, yeah, it's up to you if you want to delete your social media account. It's really up to you. Ako naman, I still use YouTube kasi there are many educational content. Yun naman ang habol ko doon. Tsaka nanonood din ako ng mga entertainment like mga music, mga ganyan, music videos, mga auditions sa wait, hindi ko ako doon eh. I mean, dahil may pagka-musikero rin kasi ako. Yan. Okay lang yun. But you should be disciplined, no? The internet is a tool that you should control. It's not the other way around. Don't let this tool control you. Okay? And then another key takeaway, no, have some momentary breaks from your social media. So minsan i-turn off mo for 1 week. Okay? Urgent lang, no? Sabihin mo lang or communicate nyo lang ako using my pag urgent lang yung mga concerns, please. Okay? And another thing that you can also do is to game your news feed. When you say game your news feed, mag-type ka lang dun sa search button or sa search field ng Facebook screen mo ng mga topics or interests or companies, for example, na hindi mo naman talaga interest, just to gamify it. Ginagawa ko yun eh. Ginagawa ko yun. And then I look into So I created this, sabihin na nating dummy account. And everything that I put into that dummy account, it's not related to who I am. Yung mga interest na nilagay ko doon, yung mga taong ina-add ko doon, hindi ko naman kilala. Ayan, I'm gaming yung platform. And yeah, it shows yung mga, as expected, yung mga results na sinabi ko, no? Kung paano siya nagbe-behave. And last but not the least, no, especially one of the realizations this pandemic, no, we should all get a life, no, outside our work, outside the social media as well, outside this online world, outside the connected world. Nami-miss ko yung time na siguro mga 80s or 90s, no, or early 2000 na wala pang cellphone, wala pang internet, ang mga kaibigan mo laging nandyan pag kailangan mo sila. Hindi yung na online lang sila, but you don't really feel that they care. 'Di ba? And also yung mga family members mo, 'di ba? Wala pang, kahit naman walang social media nun. okay pa rin naman, di ba? Yung mga relatives mo na nakakausap mo pa naman sila tito, tita. Pag Pasko, magkakasama pa rin naman kayo. So, yeah, sabihin man natin na Facebook basically changed the game on how we connect our friends, our families, our colleagues, no? Still, mas maganda pa rin yung interaction talaga na totoo kaysa yung sa online lang. Okay? Yeah, so I think, well, if you ask me what do I think if this will be changed or not, I would say mahirap baguhin. Again, because there are financial incentives, no, attached to it. And as we all know, financial incentives ruin the world. Okay? And there's almost no laws on data privacy. Oh no, yeah, may data privacy ek dyan. But once you provided your data, ito naman kasi guys, wag naman kayo masyado magbigay ng information, no? About, minsan i-gamify nyo, bigyan nyo ng maling info. Ayan. And yeah, it all leads to, kasi again, yung thinking short term, especially ng mga big companies na ito, wala silang, I'm super against short-termism or short-term thinking or short-term profit making. Kasi hindi sustainable yan, no? Merong madidehado at madidehado. Kasi very short-term ang thinking mo. Kailangan mo ng resulta agad. So by all means, no? So may mga maagrabyado kang tao, definitely. But if you think long-term, if every business executive, every business think long-term, sustainability, no? Value creation, lagi kong ini-espouse yan. So kung connected tayo sa LinkedIn, makikita mo yung mga recent posts ko papunta doon. It's because that's how we can make this world a better place to live in. Okay? Every business, yeah, of course, every business is a for profit. But the thing is, every business should realize that they have the power to change society. They are the real force behind the society. That's not the government. Okay? It's not the government. The government can only do so much. And the government, we all know naman yan, are also being funded by these private and public enterprises. So, you should be responsible. So, for those executives like me, please think of the long term. Please think of sustainability. Please think of the value that we are impacting to our society. Okay, kung may mga questions, comments po kayo, comment and question lang po kayo, send nyo ako ng PM dito sa Kasiopao Facebook page. Add nyo lang po kami or subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And yeah, kita-kits po tayo ulit sa next episode. Ciao!